Oh, I see.
Yeah, you're really important. You get to.
Very safe. We got him. Here we go. I like that. Thanks. Right here?
My final question is to Judge Goldsmith. The San Diego Reader reported that in the 1980s, your wife accused you of violent behavior pending a divorce. Do you think that your personal experiences will affect your judgment in the prosecution of domestic violence cases?
Actually, probably so. My wife and I have been married for over 33 years. I'm going to get that right. How many people here have been married for over 33 years? I'm proud. I'm proud. And how many of you have had a point in time where you've had a defining moment in your relationship? We all know that. We all know that defining moment. And we've been married 33 years, 12 years into our relationship, we had that defining moment. And I'll tell you, two lawyers having a defining moment, we did have it. We worked it out, and we saved our marriage. We had a choice, and we saved our marriage because it was important to us. We love each other. We did seek counseling, which I think is important when you need help. We learned to better communicate with each other. It made me a better person, and I've made our relationship stronger. We went on to have another child who's now a sophomore in college, and we're proud of the way we reacted to it. And yes, you build character through experiences like that. Thank you.
Judge Goldsmith, I want to follow up on my third question because I heard something that I want to give you a chance to clarify. You said yes, that your personal experience would affect your judgment in the prosecution of domestic violence cases, and I do want to go back to that.
Ms. Gonzalez, I did not say that. I said that it adds to your character in personal experience.
Well, my question was, do you think your personal experience would affect the judgment and prosecution of domestic violence cases? And your answer was yes.
No.
But that's what I'm allowing you to clarify.
Let me
Okay. Well, I'm not through with my question.
Make sure your premise is correct. I know you want to ask your question, but I'd like to make sure the premise is correct. The premise, what I said is, yes, it adds to my character. It's part of my experience, and it enhances our relationship, and it adds to my character.
That wasn't my initial question. That's why I was coming back to that. Okay.
He's not the only one who doesn't answer questions.
No, I know. It's my question, so I wanted to give you a chance. Thank you. The question is that if you saw a case that was similar to your own, and in your position being the top prosecutor of misdemeanor domestic violence cases, would you then not prosecute domestic violence cases that somehow mirrored your own experience?
Let me explain to that. It happened about 22 years ago, was it? 23 years ago? And it was one incident that, and no, it doesn't affect my role as either a judge or as in that case, a prosecutor. I have heard hundreds of criminal cases. I've heard domestic violence cases. I have sentenced people. I've taken into account probation. I've applied the law. We apply the law when we act as a judge or as a prosecutor. We don't go into our personal experience and say, I like this person or I don't like this person. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be professionals about it, and that's what I'll do. In May 2007, Judge Michael Wellington removed you as prosecutor in People v. Story, in part because he found that you had threatened criminal prosecution in order to obtain the objectives of a civil case your office had filed. Is it unethical in California for a criminal prosecutor to threaten criminal charges to obtain an advantage in a civil dispute?
Well, first of all, this is an unfortunate way to have expressed it, and that's why I say, when you say you're taking the politics out of it, when you run as a judge, and you use judge, the reason we reserve judge is so that people can be treated with respect and treated as if they're going to be indifferent. You're mixing judge and your partisanship together, and at the very same time attacking everybody else as a politician. That's the worst form of politics you can engage in. Now, what Judge Wellington said was this: I couldn't sue on behalf of the city to take down the building and at the same time go after the people that were allegedly involved in misusing their influence to put up the building. I disagree with that. I think that was the wrong decision, but I respect the fact that it was made, and I think that if you were in that situation, what I suggest is that probably you would have gone along and allowed the building to remain, as your people that are associated with it.
Okay, question number 3. I don't get to rebut, I assume.
That's why I didn't ask any questions.
That's makes it.
I do have a question for Mr. Peters, though. My question is, when in 2002 you received a memo, which was pretty solid advice, advising you that the city was in violation of the Clean Water Act, how could you, especially being an environmental lawyer, persist in doing nothing about it to the point where the Kroll report called you, I believe, grossly negligent and deliberately willful misconduct?
I think that very much misstates the facts. Sorry to hear you say that. We set water rates under legal advice at a certain period of time, and informed the California authorities we were going to do a cost of service study to make sure that the apportionment of those rates was correct. We did that cost of service study, and immediately thereafter adjusted the water rates according to the advice we received. You'll notice while the Kroll report was critical, look at what the SEC did with that after we explained all of the facts of this, the fact that bondholders would always be repaid, and the fact that we had complied with the law. It became a footnote and nothing was done with it. So I think the SEC recognized that truly we were doing the best we could within the discretion we thought we had to set water rates at the appropriate level. When we found out we had to fix it, that's what we did.
There has been a well-organized, well-financed campaign to try to return us to the past. Judge Goldsmith is supported by the attorneys who are basically involved in carrying out that effort. Mr. Peters has been actively involved in the city attorney's office is not polarized. What you've been reading about is misinformation that's been put out by former employees who stand to gain literally millions of dollars if the legal benefits are not set aside. There's been a well-organized campaign.
So you've had some bad experiences, I believe, in the City Attorney's Department, and I wondered what kind of experience have you had that would enable you to manage a department of hundreds of people in a way that is better managed than right now?
Well, yes, absolutely. Having been on the inside and seeing things that are done wrong is certainly a good roadmap for how you correct things. But I also do have experience in managing large staff. Little known fact that has come out in this litigation is that I was a flight attendant. I was in charge of supervising and taking care of 400 people on an airplane flying through space at 400 miles an hour. I can handle a large crowd of people. As a specific example, in regards to the pension litigation, which is so much in the forefront of the issues at our city right now, when he came into office, and if I had been coming into office, I think I would have approached it differently. I'm probably the only person up here who would have agreed that I would, under certain circumstances, still take suit against the city and the council to correct those wrongs. This may surprise you, but Bonnie DeMattis was actually one of the first people to encourage me to run for this position. Now, granted, that was over a glass of wine at a convention.
Let me just say one thing. I didn't say that the chief was corrupt. What
I want to say one other thing, and that is that I had an opportunity to meet this morning with the mayor and to have discussions with our police department, and I want to make everyone know that and aware of the fact that any and all outstanding issues with regard to what we've been reading about with regard to the city attorney's office and the police department have been resolved.